Up with KREM begins now.
6 o'clock here on your Veterans Day. Thanks so much for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Nicole Hernandez. We want to get right to our meteorologist, Thomas Patrick, because Thomas, you're tracking fog this morning and it could impact people driving to work.
Yeah, it's definitely going to impact people driving to work. So just take it easy because you are very well going to encounter some slower conditions just in terms of the traffic flow because of the lower visibility that is pretty much everywhere in the region. This time around, our dense fog advisory is issued across a pretty wide swath of the inland Northwest, not just Spokane County, not just the West Plains where it usually occurs. This time, a lot of spots are experiencing that low visibility, really as a result of some of yesterday's rainfall and just the overall calm conditions for the morning hours. Now, yes, the West Plains are getting the worst of it. 1/8 of a mile visibility is about the distance of 2 football fields, and you wouldn't be able to see anything past that. 1/4 mile visibility in Coeur d'Alene to mark some of the worst spots. Here is that look over downtown Spokane. The pavilion's way in the corner here. You can see just a few of the lights. Looks like that's about a 1/4, half-mile visibility around downtown, with temperatures at least above freezing right now. But the low visibility of the fog definitely going to be an issue all morning.
Here's a live look at the traffic impact this morning from I-90 and Pines in Spokane Valley. You can see some of that fog looking like it's a little bit better in Spokane Valley, very dense in the downtown core in Spokane, but still there's a lot of fog this morning. So really, if you are heading throughout the area, you could encounter it in certain places and maybe not so much in other places. It does look like we are seeing some red brake lights in the westbound lanes right now. We'll see if we can figure out if there's something going on in that area. Otherwise, though, traffic is moving nice and smoothly here at this hour. We'll keep you updated here on Up with KREM. To the elections now, an update on the Spokane County election. The elections office dropped their final vote count.
Now that we have the last group of votes, it looks like the Together Spokane initiative is going to pass. The Parks levy sits at 55% of voters saying yes, meaning it is passing with a pretty good margin. The vote only needed 50% to pass and has been above that mark since day one.
And the Spokane Public Schools bond is passing, ending with almost 62% of voters saying yes. Remember, this bond needed a supermajority of 60% to pass. The county still needs to certify the results, of course, but with both passing, the school district and park department says that the projects will begin as quickly as possible.
Dr. Adam Swinyard said in a statement, this partnership will be a catalyst for the region, and it, quote, sets the course for a really bright future.
Here's some of the other big projects Together Spokane promises: an indoor aquatic pool, several sports complexes, and in general, joint access between many schools and parks. That all on top of all the projects the bond and levy each separately fund. Last week, I did ask Dr. Swinyard what's next and how soon these projects will actually get going.
Yeah, well, Adams Elementary, as we've shared, is in desperate need of a renovation. It's over 100 years old. It was on the bond that failed in 2024. There was a lot of tears here the next day. It was that was hard news for this school community. So we're really excited for what this could mean for them, and we've intentionally planned that this would be ready to go right off the bat. So kids would be transitioning to a temporary school site in December and January, and we would begin this process right away.
The other race that was really close up to this point, the District 1 City Council seat. Before last night's City Council meeting started, Council member Jonathan Bingle congratulated District 1 candidate Sarah Dixit. In the latest vote tally, Dixit pulled further ahead. In a post on Facebook, Bingle said, quote, as we move forward, we will work to ensure that every vote was counted and counted legitimately. That is not about changing the outcome, it's about honoring the process. Now, the two candidates are separated by just 156 votes. Keep in mind, with where that stands, there will not be an automatic recount. For a mandatory recount, the difference between candidates must be less than 0.5%. Dixit's lead is well over 1%. A recount could still happen if a candidate asks for it, though. Historically, recounts often don't change that outcome.
And in the last several years, we've had almost no differences whatsoever between the machine count, the main machine count that we certify, and then the recount. Whether that recount's done by machine or done by hand, the numbers come out the same. So we've got a really good system.
That was Spokane County Auditor Vicki Dalton. She says the recount would cost money. She says the deposit just to request a recount for this race would be more than $3,200. And then to actually complete new tallies would be much more expensive.
This morning, legislation to reopen the government is now on its way to the House and then the president. Last night, the U.S. Senate passed a bill to reopen the government.
A handful of Democrats in the Senate crossed party lines to pass this deal. It does include funding for food assistance, but it does not address their main concern, health care subsidies. As Bradley Blackburn reports, the Republicans promised they would vote on that later.
The bill as amended is passed.
An end to the longest shutdown in U.S. history is in sight.
I think this is a great victory for the American people.
Last night, 8 Democratic caucus members in the U.S. Senate joined Republicans to pass a bill which would fund the government through January 30th. The measure reverses shutdown-related layoffs and guarantees back pay for federal workers. It also incorporates 3 year-long spending bills that include SNAP food assistance funding. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman on his yes vote to Fox News.
It's the country over the party on this.
But the split has sparked backlash, especially since the deal did not include the Democrats' key demand of an extension of Affordable Care Act tax credits.
What's the point if the subsidies were the issue and that's not a part of the negotiated plan?
Senate GOP leaders say members are discussing the ACA with the promise of a vote sometime next month. But in the House, Speaker Mike Johnson has been non-committal.
I do not guarantee the outcome of legislation or dates or deadlines or anything.
The House is expected to take up the Senate's bill to reopen the government as soon as Wednesday.
So with the Senate passing this deal, what's next? It now moves to the House of Representatives. We're expecting them to take it up quickly. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he is hoping to vote by Wednesday. If the House approves it with no changes, the bill then heads straight to the president's desk for his signature. That signature would then officially reopen the federal government. We have a live look now over the nation's capital. This is not a full budget. It's a continuing resolution, also known as a CR. That means it only funds the government for a short time. It is a short-term fix that keeps money flowing while lawmakers negotiate a more permanent spending bill. If Congress cannot agree on that full-year budget before this new deadline, we could be in the same position all over again.
6:08. In a 6-1 vote, the Spokane City Council approved an emergency declaration issued by Mayor Lisa Brown. It's designed to help secure food and shelter for people who are struggling right now. Mayor Brown cited the federal funding risk as the reason for the citywide state of emergency. This ordinance means the city will fund 50 additional shelter beds, speed up eviction prevention contracts, and fund mobile medication-assisted treatment to substitute any dwindling government funds. The only person to vote against the declaration was Jonathan Bingle. He argued it did not do enough to help those with food insecurity.
Millions of dollars and up to $30,000 in food. It's not about food. It's about being able for allowing the mayor to get money out to people to do work without going through the contract process. This is just us ceding our authority to the mayor, and there's nothing else about it. It is just that.
Council members who supported the ordinance says the move is more than just SNAP benefits. They say it will help the city provide support services to those experiencing homelessness and needing help. The city did clarify council members can terminate any city contracts if they feel the right services are not being provided. Well, Ritzville's only hospital is at risk of both layoffs and closure. According to a warn notice sent to the state, East Adams Rural Healthcare is facing severe financial problems. They had more than $13 million in losses from 2022 to 2024, despite getting $2 million in Washington State Hospital distressed funding. The interim CEO says their debt has gotten to a point where vendors cannot support them without being paid. More than 100 employees could be potentially laid off in early January, including paramedics, EMTs, and board members. The hospital is hosting a community meeting. It's set for this Saturday to talk about their future. It's happening at 2 p.m. at the Legion Hall in Ritzville. As we honor and celebrate those that have served our country today, there are several events happening around the Inland Northwest for Veterans Day.
KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones is live in Spokane this morning. So Brandon, what's happening today?
Good morning, Tim, Nicole. Several events honoring Veterans Day. One of them right here at the Spokane Arena, the Washington State Fallen Heroes Project. They're hosting their annual Veterans Day ceremony. It'll be inside of the arena at 10 a.m. this morning. There's going to be some live music, several speakers, and again, just an opportunity to respect and celebrate the veterans here in the Inland Northwest. Elsewhere, Veterans for Peace is hosting a ceremony at the community building. That's also at 10 a.m. And at Riverside Memorial Park, there's going to be a dedication of a National Pomeroy marker at 1 p.m. A couple of other options. Spokane is honoring military members with free parking, golf, and a carousel rides at the Louvre. Of course, with that golf, I was talking about the weather yesterday with Thomas. He was saying it might be a pretty decent day for that. But those carousel rides are available for active or retired military and their families from 11 to 6. Again, that's going to be at the Louvre. And later today, our very own Tim Pham will MC the first ever Heroes Awards night. That's going to be tonight at the Spokane Club. You can join Tim from 6 to 8:30 for a night of honoring our country's heroes. We do have details on our website, KREM.com, about all of these Veterans Day events. Again, we just want to say thank you to all of the veterans, and we appreciate you. For now, live in Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Thank you, Brandon. Time is now 6:12 as we take a look at our weather forecast. Quite foggy across parts of the region this morning. Though as we look at Coeur d'Alene, downtown Coeur d'Alene, this does not look too bad at all. Yeah, you can see that low cloud cover in the not too far distance there. So really, this is starting to become a situation where this fog is more patchy than not. Looks like the farther north you go on Highway 97, you will likely be encountering a bit more of those foggy conditions. As for our temperatures, we are above freezing, so we'll take that, which means this isn't a freezing fog this morning, but be cautious because the visibility can certainly change very quickly, especially as you are commuting along I-90 this morning. So be aware of the heavy fog through the region today.